Cool girls are drinking iced lattes, and now they're drinking matcha. And cool girls are drinking Aperol spritzers, but now they're drinking Campari spritzers. And they were drinking spicy margaritas, but now they're drinking dirty martinis. There's a crisis of recommendations going on. In a piece written by an amazing Substacker called Her Grand Tour, she talks about the idea of a place being better before it's shared. She goes into the problem with innocently sharing a place on TikTok. As she puts it, what we have now is by and large a first impression dressed up as expertise. Well, it seems well enough that everyone's going on TikTok, going to cool places, going to cute places, going to nice places, and sharing them with the public. These aren't good, well-researched recommendations. I'd even go so far as to say that they're not recommendations at all. What they are is simply a new type of showboating. They're a, look where I am, dressed up as a, you should go here. Even the labeling replaces viral, or like a viral spot, a trending spot, a TikTok trending spot. The decision to use that word viral in place of any other actual real descriptor sums up this issue perfectly. What we're essentially seeing is the fast fashion-ification of bars, restaurants, of tourism, but also of community spaces. Nowhere is that clearer than in this new category of cool girl spots, when people are like, cool girls in London are drinking here, cool girls in London are eating here, cool girls in London are drinking spritzers. In this category especially, we see things moving fast. All you really have to do is, like, go to Primark. Go and look what Primark are putting on t-shirts. Because right now, Primark are making t-shirts with Campari spritzers and oysters. You go back, last season, last month, the t-shirts were spicy margaritas. Like, we're trendifying drinks. But especially on TikTok now, and I'm sure, like, I know it is happening in London where I live, but it's surely happening in your city too. We're trendifying places, businesses. But the very nature of a trend is that a trend doesn't have community. A trend lacks community. A trend is too transient to build anything lasting or real. And cool girl spots especially, cool girl spots have no community. I guess my problem is less the girl, it's the cool. The girliness of it just feels like this further thing of, like, turning girlhood and the existence of women living this world into a product, something still, something sellable. It's like girl math, girl dinner, girl whatever. A cool girl spot is aesthetic. A cool girl spot is nice to look at and nice to photograph. You see, even in these TikToks recommending it, you've got, like, panning round the bar, you're seeing, like, a beautifully manicured hand holding a beautiful glass. You're seeing, like, a bustling crowd of incredibly well-dressed people outside. But what you're essentially getting here is still lifes. You're getting sold a business on the basis of the image that you could take there. You're getting sold the business on the basis of the Instagram story, you know? So a cool girl spot becomes frozen, it becomes vapid, it becomes all about the aesthetic and not the actual lived atmosphere, not like the people you're going to meet there, the night you're going to have there, the stories you're going to gather there. It's not even about the taste. In these recommendation videos, you're getting no information even about the menu. You're seeing, like, a beautiful cocktail in a glass, but they're never really telling you, like, what it is. They're never really telling you what it tastes like. They're never really telling you, like, how it is. You're seeing, like, beautiful plates of food, but, like, there's very rarely any actual information about the business, the product they're selling. Instead, it's all down to the appearance of it and the appearance of the girl there. But then when it comes to the cool aspect of it, I feel like that's the part that is doing, like, serious damage. The idea of launching a business on the label of cool seems to breed, like, no real responsibility. What we're seeing more and more and more, and what Her Grand Tour writes about, is the recommendation of businesses that just aren't ready for that level of attention. I think for me, in London, a perfect example is Ellie's in Dalston. Basically immediately after Ellie's opened, Ellie's was granted the label of the new cool spot because almost as soon as it opened, Charlie XCX had her wedding party there. And from that moment on, Ellie's is cool. Ellie's is granted that label with no actual basis to it. By the time it was granted the label of cool, most people hadn't been. It had barely been opened. It was a soft opening. So what we have, and again, while this isn't about Ellie's, sue me. I kind of like Ellie's. But what we have is a business granted this label and this surge of popularity on no real basis, maybe before they're even like ready and have like figured out their own branding and like kind of set their own atmosphere and like locked all of that stuff in. But they're also given this like vapid label that I just often feel like voids the people going in of any sense of responsibility. If you're going to a place because it's already been granted the label of cool, there's no sense of like the crowd has to bring something to it. Often when you go to these spots that are called like cool girl spots, cool spots, you'll notice that like there's just like a palpable lack of spirit, heart, energy, excitement, people like bringing themselves to the space. Instead, you often go and see a uniform in the same way as that bar or that restaurant or whatever is currently trending. You're going to see a full crowd of people dressed in the uniform of whatever's currently trending, you know? I find that at these spots, like, you're not really likely to see groups mingling. I feel like people don't really bring themselves to the space. What they bring to the space is the idea of coolness, of perceived coolness, of current coolness. The business is granted these labels while it's of benefit for a while. The problem is the nature of trends is that they end, you know? Like, everyone is obsessing over like current spots in the same way that like you go back to the spicy margarita obsession of 2023, the picante obsession of 2023, and then all the places that everyone was going to for picantes, who's going there anymore? Like, the places that were bustling 2 weeks ago don't have a queue outside anymore. So how does that business last beyond the trend ending? And I don't think that's the fault of the business, you know? Like, Ellie's in Dalston, to go back to that example, Ellie's in Dalston isn't like putting all this energy into being the current cool East London spot. It's putting all its energy into being like a viable and good business. But then on the other hand, you do see businesses that seem set up with the express purpose of becoming a cool girl spot. Me and the Dreamery, we have beef. I have beef with the Dreamery. The cellar's amazing. The Dreamery is selling ice cream and natural wine. I want to go there. The thing you're seeing pictures of is this beautiful, and it is beautiful, beautiful stained glass ceiling, all hand painted, gorgeous. And then the rest of the spot is just metal, mirrors, cold metal and mirrors. No seats, no real seats, maybe like 6 seats in the whole place, just counters. So you go there. Also, big light is on because it's got to illuminate that beautiful ceiling, you know? So no matter the season, no matter the weather outside, no matter the time of day, like, it stays open quite late. You could, like, it's a wine and dessert spot. Like, you're probably going in the evening, but even in the evening, big light is on, like, mirrors everywhere. So big light's reflecting in all that mirrors. It's very bright there. But, like, yeah, 6 seats in the whole place. So the whole point is that you get your ice cream and you get your wine and you lean. But ice cream and wine, these are indulgences. These are supposed to be, like, enjoyed slowly. Like, when you have ice cream at home, you don't lean on your kitchen counter. Like, you take that ice cream and you sit on your sofa and you, like, watch a movie, I don't know. So for me, it's like, I look at a business like that and I'm like, so we don't have seats, so we're aiming for a fast turnover. We don't have seats, so we're not hoping that anyone really gets into any, like, major conversations here. We don't have seats, so we're hoping that, like, groups don't mingle. This isn't for big groups. Like, you're hoping people come in, buy the wine and the ice cream, take a picture of the ceiling and the wine and the ice cream, like we're seeing all over Instagram and TikTok, and then get the fuck out of there. You're not making it like a cozy environment. But what bugs me is that the product of wine and ice cream, that's debrief product. Like, I want to go and get wine and ice cream with my friends and have, like, a long chat. Like, that's the place I want to go and, like, spill. But you're not letting me. And that bugs me. The Dreamery is the epitome of the problem of a cool girl spot, and is also the epitome of the cool girl spot. It's everywhere. It's not a space that wants any level of like real human connection or like enjoyment to be happening there. It's a byproduct, take your picture and leave spot. It's transient, as is the problem. It's trending to the furthest extent where it doesn't even like endeavour to have a human spirit to it. To me, the dreamery feels insulting in the same way that all girl things feel insulting in some way. Like the very idea of girl math, girl dinner, it's minimising, it's dumbing girlhood down to something small, but also like something sellable, you know, like it's a product, it's vapid is like the bottom line. Realistically, like in this day and age, we talk all the time about the idea of third spaces, people being desperate for a third space because we're in share houses, like small share houses where if your housemates are in the kitchen, like you don't want to have like a big debrief dinner with your friends in the kitchen. Like more and more and more like bars and restaurants like serve a third space community purpose, but these cool girl spots like just seem to void that. They feel like still lives, they feel stuck and stationary, they feel based in vanity and based in the very stereotype of what to be a girl is, to care about appearance over everything. I want to go somewhere and feel like I'm going to meet interesting people and have interesting conversations. I want to go somewhere and feel like it's brimming with the potential of a city. I want to feel like I could go and meet the love of my life, meet a new friend, talk to someone in the bathroom, get in like a accidental conversation with the table next to me, get in a conversation with the waiter, get in a conversation with the bartender, and then the next time I go, those same people still work there. And then slowly you build up kind of a local community, a regulars community, where you're going to the same place all the time because you love the vibes there, you've got to know the people that work there. Other people are drawn to the same place, so naturally they seem to be like-minded to you. You meet other people there. Slowly, a business fosters a community that matches itself, it matches its vibe, it matches what it's selling, it matches its ethos and its ethics, and it mirrors the community around it and all of that stuff. Whereas these trending cool girl spots have no intention of doing that. And even if they do, if the business does have the intention of doing that, the vapidness and the laxness and just like the meaninglessness of these obsessive recommendations, the idea of going to these cool girl trending places to kind of tick a box and like be part of this moment is stunting that. Because instead you get a crowd of people who are like, it's cool here, and then they go to the next cool place next week, you know? You're not actually building a base. And to come back to the point that her grand tour was making in that amazing Substack was about the fact that this isn't helpful to those businesses. Like, businesses open with the intention of being long lasting. No one's opening like a fleeting trending business. You would open a pop-up. These bars that become these like trending hotspots become like the image and the face and whatever of this moment. What are they supposed to do when the moment's over? The most reliable thing for a business is a base of regulars, people who love it there, who have found that sense of community there. But that's not going to come from these cool girl crowds. In her piece, she thinks about the idea of someone being on holiday, stumbling into like a little family-run Italian restaurant somewhere down some side street in Italy, posting it, thinking they're doing a nice thing, but actually in posting it, they cause this storm of attention that the actual restaurant isn't equipped to keep up with, but it pushes out the regulars because suddenly it's too busy and they can't get a table and they don't like the queues outside and the new crowd. But eventually the new crowd stops coming. So then they've lost the regulars, they've lost this trending like momentary buzz, and the business collapses. It stands completely against what good travel writing, good food writing, good drink writing has always been about. We all love Anthony Bourdain. I love Anthony Bourdain too. But his whole thing was the community of food. Like, you watch an Anthony Bourdain TV show and obviously he's incredibly knowledgeable on the actual food, But that's not what he cares about. He cares about meeting the people that work at these places, meeting the people who regularly go in, knowing that the crowd of a place is just as much of a reflection of the business as any product they're selling. Out of everything we have, like music, fashion, art, film, whatever, food and drink is the closest linked thing to community. It's the closest linked thing to togetherness. It's a scientific fact that sharing food makes you more emotionally open with people. Senses like taste and smell are also the closest link to memory. What we're seeing now is just like a complete crisis, like a crisis of recommendation, a crisis of the food and drink industry in this idea of making restaurants, making bars just as fleeting as anything else, when food and drink and the power they hold and the power these spaces hold is never supposed to be that. I also just think we're robbing ourselves of such a joy and such a way to connect with a community. It shouldn't be underestimated the power that bars and restaurants and the kind of natural crowd that these places would draw in can have on our lives. One of my best friends, Zoe, is just like the best at recommendations. She always kind of endeavours, there's a place that she likes, to become that regular. But when you ask Zoe for her best recommendation is just go and find her own places. The places we go should be a reflection of ourselves, and it also should be linked to having fun, exploring, get out there in your city, walk around. If somewhere looks nice, go in. Simple. If you like it there, go more. Bring your friends. Your friends will naturally tell other people about it. These community spaces will naturally build based on the crowd that goes in. It's easy to forget that cool is a community act. Cool is a lived act. Cool is an energy, a good night, an atmosphere. Cool isn't a nice glass in a nice hand. Like, it's not the look of the martini. It's the taste. It's the dance that comes after it.